Gotta tell you, Dean Ambrose isn't enjoying this one bit, folks.
Cool, I brainwashed, thinking that I always was a lost cause. In spite of that, never cared what they said, the lies they fed. Call me the person that I am today. Call us the ones who trying to fade away. Call me, not based on your opinion. We don't care why we follow this absurd thing. I am not alone. We are millions of words for us to create our own world. We can choose our fun to be just what we want.
Oh, man. Oh, hey guys. Finally, welcome back to That's Unpopular. So, I've been doing a ton of nostalgia gaming this past week, and it's all because I started to get annoyed by the new bullshit of today of updates and downloading, and you don't have enough space for this game. Delete some of your other shit. Sorry, this console's not the exact build. You might need to upgrade to a Pro. It's just been so much lately that I decided to go back to the good old days of when all you did was just pop a game in and it played. Easy as that. But then I saw this video.
Boy, you're right, Michael. You know what? Bruno Sammartino versus Buddy Rogers in May of 1963 immediately comes to mind, as does Hulk Hogan versus the Iron Sheik in January of 1984. The results of both of those matches had such an impact on this WWE history.
And I got confused. I started going, wait, that doesn't look at all like the one I have. I have the 360 version of WWE 2K15. So I started searching up videos about it. And I haven't found any videos at all of people covering this version of WWE 2K15. Which is shocking to me because I keep finding videos left and right talking about how shit this game was because of how glitchy, broken, and way too hard it tried to be with its realism instead of its fast-paced nature of the good old days. And then I thought, wait a minute, but I have that game. And it plays just like WWE 12, so I'm confused here. So after that, I was originally going to do an episode just covering this game and how the 360 downgraded version is way better than the next-gen version by a landslide, by a huge mile. This game does basically just use the WWE 12 engine and makes a solid game. I actually play through this a lot. But then it got me thinking about other games that have also had downgrades and downports before. I mean, hell, even in my first episode of That's Unpopular, I mentioned how I actually love the PS1 version of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, and that's one of my favorite versions of the game. So I decided to instead make a list and go through a ton of games like this and talk about all of them. So yes, after playing through a lot of these, let's do it. Now obviously first we're going to go with the 2K15 game. Now, yeah, it is pretty crazy. When I first got this game, I got it for 360 because, no joke, I actually thought this was a 360 game. And yeah, it just plays like WWE 12. You can even see a comparison right here. It makes you appreciate way more that this just plays like the old ones. Yes, WWE 12 is still not as good as the Legend SmackDown Shut Your Mouth or the legendary Day of Reckoning games, but I mean, WWE 12 was a solid game. I remember when I first got it because of how much creation there was. I played it for hours. and this game ups that by 100. You have way more customization options for stages and for creating your characters, just like the old games, with a lot of shit to do. Way better than how trash the new creation is. Honestly, I've been playing some WWE 2K23, and I'm getting sick and tired of how limiting you keep making creation. Now, yes, you might look at it differently, but no. So what I'm trying to say is, all you YouTubers out there who did videos talking about how shit this game was and everything, how about for a change you do one on the 360 port of the game, because that one is actually a good version. You want to play the 2K showcase without going through a headache? Play it on this version. Way better, and you'll be having much more of a better time. Trust me, I did. And then due to that, it made me curious to see what other games were also solid. So one day, out of curiosity, I saw that Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 was available on the 360, and I know how trash the game is and how it has all these problems with servers and everything, so I picked it up. And I will tell you, I was blown away. Now, the 360 version, of course, it's not still the greatest Tony Hawk's ever. The PS2 games will always beat that. But it actually played, which is more than I can say for the regular version. There are still some bugs here and there, like sometimes you'll just glitch to the floor or a combo will end, but in the 360 version, the glitches were actually very minimal and actually much smaller. They barely happened, and when they did, it was brief, compared to the next-gen version, which seems to break when you do anything. And you don't have to worry about a server. For any YouTubers out there doing videos saying, now I have a headache reviewing this game because I have to get the new version and I have to connect it to the servers and that's why I can't play it, dude, all YouTubers out there having this problem, just play the 360 version. The 360 version does not have a server problem. Yes, you'll get a message saying the server's not around anymore, but it doesn't stop you from playing the game. You can still go in and just play for hours. That's what I did. And yes, I know it doesn't come with the last 2 DLCs they made, but I genuinely don't care. I mean, it's Pro Skater 5. I'm okay with what it has. I'm just happy that it works, is what I'm saying. So another solid one, if you guys want to play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 in a good way, where it actually works for a change, check out the 360 version. It's fun, it's solid, and I had a blast with it. I'm not even kidding. Even to this day, I'll pop it in once in a while and just go on hours and hours and hours with it. I was even able to just pull a 3 million combo once just going in this big string. It's a very simple game. You have basic turn animation revert, and you have basic moves, no longer able to extend combos. But then again, it's trying to be like the old Pro Skater games, so that's the reason why it's that way. It's not because it's 100% a bad game. It plays the way it does because it's trying so hard to be the Pro Skater games that are apparently the best ones, instead of trying to be what it should be, like the PS2 games we grew up with. But then, this got me thinking on the Tony Hawk's games that were downgraded on the PS2. Now yes, me and my brother, we grew up with a PS2. That was our main console. That was our main thing. No joke, when the 360 and PS3 came out, we didn't even know they came out. We still bought all of our games on the PS2 because they were still coming out for it, so we thought the PS2 was still the console. I have each and every SmackDown vs. Raw game on the PS2 all the way to 2009. I have them. I have SmackDown vs. Raw from 2007 and up, all on the PS2, due to the fact that I assumed that was still the main console, so I bought each one for there. And my brother went through the same thing. My brother's huge on Tony Hawk's, and he ended up just getting each and every one on the PS2 as it went on. Now, yes, this isn't the one I want to talk about. I will say for this one, PS2 version is still great, but you're better off getting the 360 version, only because the 360 version has a much better story. But for PS2 Tony Hawk's ports, I thought Project 8 was perfectly fine. Yes, it didn't have a big open world, and yes, it wasn't as realistic, but it still played solid. Me and my brother still played Project 8, not as much as the other games, because regardless, even the 360 version we checked out later, it was still a hot garbage game. Project 8 isn't bad because of the downgrade, it's bad because it's Project 8. It tries way too hard to be different and add way too many new things instead of just being a solid game from the old Tony Hawk series. But with that in mind, Project 8 is a game where get either version, and to me they're both the same. They both play the exact same. The only difference is you have an open world with more graphics, and you have a closed off one where you pick levels with Tony Hawk's American Wasteland graphics. Not a problem for me. And in my case, I actually prefer the PS2 version of Project 8 just because it reminds me more of my childhood nostalgia, and it just feels more simpler to me and more better. But when it comes to Proving Ground, yeah, you got me on that one. And now, last but not least, the last one I really wanted to talk about in already this topic of a lot of games, because this is one I actually had a really big spot for. Ghostbusters the game on PS2. No joke, I remember when this game came out, I did have a 360 at that point, and I actually had the demo of this game on the 360, and I know the 360 version and later the remastered version, which I also have, was way more realistic and had detailed graphics and everything, but I don't know, it feels less. In the PS2 version, there's way more to do. And yes, it chooses to go cartoony, it chooses to be more like the cartoon and be more silly, but for some reason that benefits it. I'm not kidding. The PS2 version has more silly characters and more creative guns. Like, when I played the remastered version finally and played through that one, I immediately said to myself, wait, where's the slime blaster that makes those trails and can unlock hidden stuff, or the goo gun that you can use to stick things, and I started actually growing sad. I went, what? You don't have all the silly ass guns from this game? You don't have the cartoony mechanics this one had? And no joke, I didn't like it. I prefer this one way more. I still have 10 times more fun with the PS2 version of the game, and I think the PS2 version is way better. I mean, I know it's also on Wii, but that you have to deal with, and nobody wants to deal with that. I mean, let's be honest. So yeah, I wanted to end it off on a high note where this was the one I played the most for hours. I fucking love the PS2 version of Ghostbusters the game way more than the next gen version. Yeah, it's simpler and more linear, but it takes advantage. This is one of those games that chooses to just go all out with it. This game goes, hey, we're simpler and more cartoony. Fuck it, let's go all out. Let's make cartoony weapons, more sillier cartoony boss battles they have to think more to defeat. Let's make more silly decisions in the animation and cutscenes. Let's go all out. And they did. This was a damn solid game. I love it. And I really wish my friend would even come around to play with me, because I'm not even kidding. This is one I would gladly play through again. If anybody ever asked me to play through Ghostbusters the game again, or to even say what I think, or to do a video doing a playthrough on Ghostbusters, it would have to be this version, or that's it. So, yeah. There is a lot more in this topic. So much more. But I thought 4 was already more than enough to discuss, with some bonuses I threw in there. And, yeah, so what I wanted to say with this video is that sometimes we need to calm the fuck down and stop judging something just because they're lesser. Okay? Yeah. It's a downgraded port. Yes, it's on an older console. I always hate when I see videos of people going, whoa, that's pathetic. You actually programmed it to be all lower and you made it more simpler and it looks less in graphics. Ew. And I'm like, what do you want? Literally, I end up getting a reaction. What the fuck are you talking about? They're on an older console. This is what they have to work with. What did you want them to do? I always think it's stupid to judge these games because you're judging a product that these people tried their hardest to do a good comparison with. They tried their fucking hardest to make Project A play like the new one. They tried their fucking hardest to have Ghostbusters be their own creative thing, and it was actually better for it. Hell, even the people Fun Labs who did the 360 port of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 just decided to downgrade and make it simpler so it can actually run and play, besides the new version that just shits and craps itself. So, I admire these people. Whenever I see a downgraded version of a game, I'm always going to end up choosing that one more than the next gen. Why? Just because I love simplicity, and sometimes a tick goes in my head saying, you know what, maybe they did it crazier, or maybe they did their own simpler, more wild idea. I mean, with gems like the Ghostbusters game, it opened my eyes to how amazing these old gen games could be. And I'm not even kidding, this isn't even it. There's going to be way more to this topic. I'm going to have more with this, so stay tuned. There's going to be much more continuing on to this idea. Plus another idea on the 360 that I will maybe be doing next. But, you know, that's just all we have for now, and I just want to leave it on, guys, just because something is smaller, downgraded, more simpler, doesn't mean bad. It just means it's its own different thing with its own ideas. And you just need to look at things for what they are sometimes. Because if you don't, then you're just fucking stupid. And like always here on That's Unpopular, if you are one of those people that are very high contrarian and think you know so much better, like you're a big critic, and can't enjoy things for what they are, as they are, and enjoy simple, smaller ideas, and have to be so snooty and big with your opinion, then kindly, fuck off.